above titles.
That would tell you like the location they're in or other information.
It would tell you the floor that they're on or something like that, or it would identify the people, the places. But also, since we were watching the screener version, they would have Toho's watermark, which had a whole bunch of text at the bottom. And then they would randomly start speaking in English every now and then. So when they'd speak in English, there'd be Japanese subtitles on top of the watermark, and then English subtitles again on top of the Japanese ones. And then there's subtitles at the top of the screen on top of the Japanese subtitles. And it was just like crazy amount of text.
It'd be really nice like later on when we're able to just watch a dubbed version without all the text on the screen.
Now, I mean, I know subtitles are more respected. I mean, I know we said dubbed. I think they each have their advantages. I wish I just knew the language, because then I'd be able to just enjoy the movie. But the dubbed and subtitles, I think, each have their advantages. I think there can be bad dubbing where like the actors' voices are really silly and everything, and they don't match. But I mean, I don't mean the syncing. The syncing's never going to match completely because it's a different language. So anybody who makes fun of that is like, it's not going to match.
Sure.
You know, but there can be better actors doing the voices better. You know.
But to answer your question, I did not have a problem at all with subtitles.
No.
I enjoyed the story. It was good. Okay,
spoiler alert. Now we move into the spoiler section. So overall, we both liked the movie. But if you don't want to be spoiled at all, then is where you stop it.
Here.
All right. So we're carrying on. I want to talk about the first form of Godzilla. Now, you could see this as a negative thing about it, but I got so much joy out of it that I don't think it's negative. But the first form of Godzilla in this movie is hilarious.
Yeah.
It was not what I expected at all. And when you see him, the first time you see his face, I equate it to, the first thing I thought of was like, this is like watching The Giant Claw from 1957. I did a review on that.
I thought it looked like one of the Muppets.
It looked like a lot of things. It reminded me of Reptilicus a bit. It had these big googly eyes that never blink, and it's just this long neck, and he's going around, he's destroying things, and cars are flying everywhere. And but what made me think so much of The Giant Claw was that The Giant Claw is a movie that starts off very serious, not totally serious, but competent. You know, it's competently made. And then all of a sudden you see this monster, and it just built it up to this whole time. And finally when you see it, you're like, what the fuck? So
I remember when we were watching in the theater, James was sitting behind me, and I just hear him go, what? Like when he first appears on screen. Yeah. And my thought was, okay, this is a different monster, and Godzilla's going to appear later. And
it was going to be Godzilla.
It actually did turn out to be Godzilla. I didn't know just yet when you first see him that he was going to mutate. But I actually thought the mutation was really awesome. Yeah, he looks ridiculous when you first see him, but it makes sense as you continue to watch the movie.
And one thing that I found really funny about it was just to think that if there really was a giant monster in real life destroying cities, it wouldn't matter what it looked like, you'd still have to be terrified. So if you actually did see the giant claw coming at you,
you're going to shit your pants because it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, you might laugh a little while it's killing you. But...
Yeah, like, would you be, there's, you know, like, I don't know, that's just such a hypothetical, like, weird thing to imagine, but,
if you're going to get killed by a monster, but it looks absolutely like it has, like, ping-pong ball eyes, but it's going to kill you.
Imagine if it looked exactly like the giant claw or Reptilicus. Like, would you laugh at all?
You would laugh until a certain point, until it starts, like, ripping your body parts off, and then you're not laughing anymore.
I think you'd just be so freaked out of your mind if that happened. So, the later forms of Godzilla. So, like, when he's, like, you know, his mouth is stretching open like Pac-Man, and he's shooting lasers, and lasers are coming out of his back.
That was all amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome, because, like, all the crazy stuff you're talking about, like, yeah, we didn't get, like, you know, King Ghidorah and stuff like that, or no Monster X or anything, but...
well, not just other monsters, which is something that I love, and I did want to see other monsters. That was the one thing I was kind of disappointed at, that there weren't. I thought maybe at the very end they were going to do that, but they didn't.
It's kind of made that up for me, that the fact that... I mean, first of all, I didn't mind that it's been a long time since they've done a movie where it's just Godzilla, but then also that Godzilla did so much crazy stuff that kept me... you know, satisfied.
Yeah, but not just seeing other monsters, but what they would do in those movies. You've reviewed all the movies, so I know you know what I'm talking about. Like, he travels through time. And think about Godzilla Final Wars. and like all the shit going on in that movie, and like when there's aliens from outer space, and there's so much other shit that happens in the Godzilla movies, and you don't really see any of that kind of stuff in this. But the parts where Godzilla is actually fighting things, I thought it was amazing when this is the part that I really, really loved in the movie. So they're going to try to kill Godzilla, and they come along with the bombers, and one of the bombers drops a bomb down, and I guess Godzilla is still mutating, so one of the bombs like goes into his skin at one point, and then you see Godzilla bleeding, and then you're like, okay, well, one of the bombs got through, and because normally when army tanks and whatnot shoot Godzilla, they all like ricochet off, but this one like thing hits him, and so he actually gets hit, which normally doesn't even happen because it's like almost impossible to hurt Godzilla. So he gets hurt, blood comes out, and then he's like, he's not a character that speaks, but you're like, okay, well, Godzilla's pissed now because now he got hurt. So he like leans down on the ground, he opens his mouth, and what I thought was so awesome is normally when Godzilla shoots his atomic breath, it just comes down a straight line and blows something up. In this movie, he leans down, the fire comes out straight, but then it goes like in all different directions, and the fire goes down all the streets of Tokyo and just basically obliterates like most of Tokyo. That explosion reminded me of like Super Mecha Death Christ or something, just like blowing up the whole world. It was amazing.
That was one of my favorite things, was how unpredictable this Godzilla was. Because like I'm like, whoa, you didn't know Godzilla could do this now and this. I'm waiting for like a sledgehammer to come out of his ass or something. And like this is like a switchblade Godzilla. Like he's just doing all these different things.
And the other thing that was really cool that he did is, so that first time when that I just mentioned, when they get in that one hit on Godzilla, well, the next time I think Godzilla learned from experience, because then they send in more bombers to hit him again, but this time they can't get him because now his fins on the back start shooting those lasers, and now he can take out like aerial stuff. So I thought that was really cool. That okay, they got him once, but it didn't happen again. Don't fuck with Godzilla.
Yeah, I can see some people might say that this is like too absurd, that they strayed too far from the character, but it's not like in the '98 version where they strayed. It's like this time they gave us more, not less. So I don't mind
that. I liked. I want to see more.
Yeah, and it's the 29th Godzilla film, so I don't mind seeing like these radical updates.
And yeah, that's one example when he was doing that kind of stuff. Like Godzilla's abilities basically are new. He's got new abilities.
Yeah,
and that is something that I thought was cool. I just wish that there was more stuff on top of that, more monsters and more crazy plot things going on.
Yeah. Also, something I got to mention is that in my trailer response video, I talked about a theory I had, but I didn't want to say it in case it was true, and it wasn't true. So my theory did not happen in this movie, but I feel like I should just, for anybody who's curious, who saw that video, what I thought was going to happen, or what I suspected was going to happen was that because Godzilla's looking like a zombie in this movie, and in the trailer you can see that he's like bleeding and everything, and I thought that he was going to start off as a skeleton, like possibly even the skeleton of the original Godzilla, and that he would like be regenerating as the movie goes on, so all the muscles and flesh would start to form, and by the end
that would have been cool if it was the skeleton from the first movie.
And by the end of the movie, it would be